1 year ago today, Hurricane Helene struck the mountains of western North Carolina, and my town, and my community, and my family here in Asheville. And we all know what happened afterwards. 6 months later, I made a video about my experience in the storm, and it went viral. I've never had this kind of attention before, and it feels weird that the storm made me famous. And a lot of people are asking me what I'm gonna do for the first anniversary. I think a lot of people are expecting me to do another Helene Prepping Takeaways video 1 year out, but I've already received enough attention, and I'd rather redirect that to the people who are still here on the ground working to help us recover from the storm. In the aftermath of Helene, I wanted to do something to contribute to the amazing work that was getting done all around me. So I did kind of a crazy thing. I made an EP. I made a record of the songs that I had been playing with my friends at an open mic night that was canceled in the aftermath of the storm. And I was really nervous about it, especially because I'd never produced any music before, especially not in my garage. But I released it. I put it on Bandcamp and I said I would give the proceeds to charity, and I was shocked when I raised a few $100 to give directly to people who had lost their homes and to organizations that I personally knew to be doing really good work. It wasn't a lot of money, but it was a lot more money than I would have had otherwise to donate right after the storm. And there were a lot of artists in that immediate aftermath time doing the same thing. They were leveraging their art so that they could have something to contribute. Two of my good friends also produced their own records in those immediate days and nights following the storm, in some cases even recording in the dark on battery-powered equipment. And we've decided to come together on the first anniversary to see if we can contribute further. We're releasing a compilation of the music that we made in those dark days directly after the storm passed over us. I am honored to say that my tracks are going to appear alongside ambient electronic artist Clutch Them Pearls and dark Americana singer-songwriter poet Jordan Durham. Our album is called The Mountains Raised Us, Songs from Higher Ground. You'll find a link below. This album mixes songs from my EP with songs from the album Come Hell by Clutch Them Pearls and songs from Jordan's album, which was named after the signs we saw on the interstate that said, "Do not travel in Western North Carolina." The songs by Clutch Them Pearls actually use timestamps in their titles, and they start the night the storm hit. We're offering this album on Bandcamp through Black Friday, and every penny of the proceeds will be donated directly to an organization here called Beloved Asheville. Beloved has a long history here, but as the waters were rising, they stepped into a new role. Their volunteers hiked in supplies. They made sure people had insulin. They created impromptu water infrastructure. They set up satellite communications. They ran flush brigades so that the elderly and people with disabilities could keep a clean bathroom during the storm. They sheltered hundreds in tiny houses and RVs. They distributed more than 5,000 heaters. Incredibly fine work. And the folks at Beloved and other organizations like them are still working, because the recovery has barely begun. A year later, we are still learning all the ways that we were devastated by Helene. And Beloved is still working steadfastly to house the thousands of people all across the mountains that found themselves without a home when the waters receded. Beloved Asheville is where my friends and I are donating our proceeds, and I hope you'll consider them too. Our album is a fun way to do that, but please give directly if that doesn't interest you. If it does interest you, I am very grateful that I was able to lure these two incredible artists here to the garage 1 week ago to make a demo for you. Our work is all really different, so we wanted to give you some hints about what you could expect when you buy our record, but I didn't think that the production of this demo video itself would be so magical. That's not a word I use a lot, but this music takes us right back to the storm, and this anniversary is hard. And we got together after dark, and we lit a fire, and acorns were falling on the roof of the garage just like they did same time last year. And as we were recording, this huge storm gathered up in the sky. The thunder that you hear in this video is real. Give to Beloved. Thank you so much for everything this past year. I've been thinking about you since the sun went down. Been waiting down at Smokies on the low end of town. I saw you last evening up the swimming hole tree. Storms rolling down the river, smell the rain on the breeze. Your wind blew through me and your lightning hit me. Come on and take a ride in my lifted 150. Well, they teach it in the schools, they say it in the prayer. I read it in the paper, I smell it in your hair. Hey, yeah, it's a train wreck of dawn. Hey, yeah, we'll be soaked to the core. Hey, yeah, it's a 100-year flood, baby. Hey, yeah, come on and meet me on the shore. Blast back, push it back, so you can destroy. Take it back across the tracks, ain't afraid to make noise. They work 900 men, 610s at the plant. Yeah, they make them work 7, but that's God's command. I built a cabin in the woods up the great lost coast. My old man took the day, helped me lift the wood stove. Now I'm down at the game, they're cheering in the stand. The boys on the drag with a slim fit pan. I can't tell you what it takes to make a man.
You said it was like summer camp, full of bonfires, candlelight. Yeah, this was. We agreed. The lamest apocalypse we had survived so far. But looking back, I remember the ease with which I assumed control. Bloody chunks of gum line came away with the teeth I took from your hungry mouths, and so I fed you. Adrenaline. It's certainty. You wanted liquor. I gave you water. You needed warmth. I gave you timelines. So I put candles in the lampshades so we could pretend it normal when the sun went down. We played board games all night so we could block out the sirens. I was so certain, so sure. But I wondered secretly, what if it never comes back? What if it's always like this? What if you're just gone when I wake up? I told you to get out while you could because it was smart and absolutely the right move. But this house still felt like home when you slept just over there in the other room. When the arteries of our infrastructure were bleeding out into the street in that terrible canyon away from the sounds of men, I could feel you, hidden away in the blankets. You were warm, small. Proof that the world hadn't really died with all the lights. We were eating dinner, sitting by the fire when the doors shook and I had to put on death-like work gloves. I hated every minute I had to wear those guns, but I loved that you trusted me with their lethal promise. We woke up the day after I buried Nadia under the trees and the wildflowers. She always feared the open sky, so it felt like the best spot, digging in the dark. You left. I got to work. It's good to see you.